how can you be sure that it was actually P. Diddy?
Because I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hips.
If they did ballistic tests and Puff had gunpowder on him, why didn't the police go through with charging him?
Tanya Rubin has not begun to see reparations for what happened to her life. How did NBC get to profit off of it?
Jennifer Lopez is in deep, deep trouble after shocking revelations from her past have come to light. Apparently, she was involved in a major crime with Diddy, and both of them managed to escape initially.
In deliberations, the jury now appears to be focusing on the gun possession and bribery charges against Sean Puffy Combs. This afternoon, jurors sent the judge 2 notes, one of which asked for a transcript of a phone message Combs left Wardell Fenderson, once his driver, now the prosecution's star witness. During the trial, Fenderson testified that Combs was armed the night of the shooting at Club New York, and later pressured him to claim ownership of a pistol police found when they pulled over Combs' Lincoln Navigator as it fled the shooting.
And I just want to make you feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Make your family feel comfortable.
What exactly Combs meant by that is in dispute, but the prosecution claims the rapper offered Fenderson $50,000 or a diamond ring to take the rap for the gun. The jurors also wanted to hear a readback of testimony relating to Combs' former girlfriend, actress-singer Jennifer Lopez, who was in the Navigator when it was stopped by police. An officer testified that everyone in the SUV was ordered to put their hands on the vehicle, but Lopez walked away, saying she was going home. As she was being detained, a gun was discovered in the vehicle. At that point, a sergeant on the scene ordered everyone who was in the vehicle under arrest. The officer quotes Lopez as saying, "It's not my gun."
They are floating issues that are old.
Jaguar Wright told us that J Lo is going to be investigated with Diddy. Jaguar Wright said that Diddy and J Lo are both going to be investigated for the 1999 nightclub shooting where the victim said that Diddy pow-powed her in the face.
On the night of December 27th, 1999, a young woman named Nada was just out at a club when everything changed. She says she was shot in the face by none other than music mogul Sean Puffy Combs, now known as Diddy. She wasn't involved in any drama. She was just an innocent bystander. That same night, a young rapper named Moses Shine Barrow was there too. He ended up taking the fall for the whole thing and spent nearly 9 years in prison. Diddy, his co-defendant in the case, was found not guilty. Nada was only 19 at the time and is now finally sharing her story in public.
Having been shot by someone that was allowed to come into the gun when I couldn't bring in a phone, I would absolutely unequivocally like the case reopened. It needs to be reopened. And the saddest part for me is, had people taken what I said more seriously and listened more intently, 24 years worth of people probably would not have had no supplement.
Yeah, and I ask you this respectfully, just because I think people at home might be wondering, and I've never been shot, I can't imagine what that's like, but in the chaos of that moment, and it's a club and there's people all around, how can you be sure that it was actually P. Diddy?
Because I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God, that you are about to be calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly.
Wow.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot.
The moment Nada began speaking, people noticed Diddy was listening closely. This all resurfaced when Jennifer Lopez got dragged into one of the lawsuits against Diddy. Some are saying she helped cover up the crime back in 1999 or may have even helped get rid of the gun. The theory, Diddy and J Lo pinned the blame on Shine to protect themselves.
What really happened with J Lo, Shine, and Diddy, it became an episode for Law and Order SVU. A lot of money was made off of that. And guess what happened in the end of that episode, when they finally tracked down the starlet who they were hiding from everyone so she never had to testify. The male rapper took the charge, so the case was closed, and that's when she finally admitted that it was her that did the pow-powing. Ice-T knows a lot of people from that time, and he used to frequent at that club. He would have known all of the real details of everything that happened that night. Natanya Rubin has not begun to see reparations for what happened to her life. How did NBC get to profit off of it?
So after him and Diddy fell out, he started working with Jodeci more. I see. How you feel about the victim of the club shooting? I gotta ask you about this, man. How you feel about her coming out now saying that, Diddy, he shot her and not Sean? How you feel about that?
Well, the way I feel about that, the case is closed, bro. It can't be no double jeopardy. It can't be no retrial because they already had a trial and a man was convicted for her injuries. A man already did time for her injuries. You understand? If they would have to go back and see that if there was ballistic tests done on Jennifer Lopez, on Puffy, God bless the dead, on Wolf, did they do ballistic tests? And then see if they did ballistic tests and Puff had gunpowder on him, you understand? Why didn't the police go through with charging him? Why didn't the police charge him? She can say that now, and she said that I don't take nothing from the victim. I don't take nothing from the victim. But her lawyer should have advocated. I know Puff and Shine, they had the same charges. But like I said before, and like Shine said also, Shine said this also, because it's true. Puff had witnesses that come in to testify against Shine and say they saw Shine do the shooting. So her making those statements now, and the case is over with, it's been what? Well, how many years it's been? 15, 20 years? 15, 17, 15. Shine went to jail for 10 years. It was in 99, right?
Law enforcement now believes the federal investigation into Diddy might expand to include his past, especially the infamous club shooting. What has surprised many is how deep Jennifer Lopez's involvement might have been. Nada has always stuck to her story. Now, some people are asking, why is she just talking about this now? Is she chasing fame?
Oh, well, why would he shoot you? What did you do? Did you owe him money? And I'm like, class, pay attention. Bullets don't have names, and they don't have predetermined destinations. Once they come out of the gun, they're gonna go wherever they go. And that's the thing about crime and shooting people. You cannot guarantee that what you're aiming at is what you're gonna hit, because you might be a thug, but it doesn't mean you have good aim. You might be a criminal, but it doesn't mean you have good aim. And that is exactly how I sit here today, because some thug criminal with an attitude and an ego that was outside of control decided he was gonna fire a gun in a crowded nightclub and shot me in my face. By the grace of God, I am here. The first thing I said when the bullet hit me, and listen, when right before the muzzle flash went off, when I had turned back to look, I heard God's voice say, relax, you are about to get hit, calm down. And when I screamed no, pop, pop, and it hit me dead in my face. And I never passed out, I never fell, I never cried, everybody started running. And just like when you watch a TV show or a movie and there's one person standing in spot and everybody else is moving in fast motion and that one person is just in that spot, whatever they do looks a little slower, but everybody else is moving fast, that's exactly what it was like. Everybody was running, trying to get places. It was chaos. It was chaos. When that door, the first few people ran out of the door flew open. And remember, I was in that line sight, straight from the staircase, straight towards the front door. As soon as the bullet hit me, I threw my hands up and screamed out, "No, God, don't take me. I'm not finished raising my kids. I have work to do." I screamed that at the top of my lungs. I said, "I'm not going. Don't take me. I have work to do. I have to raise my children." And as I said that, the door flew open and I could feel that total rush of that cold December 27th morning air. It was freezing out there. And it passed right before the air. You ever watch Star Trek and they say, "Beam me up, Scotty," and they start to pixelate? My body started doing that. I felt my body pixelating. I didn't even feel like a solid person anymore. And as my body was pixelating, that's when the door flew open and the air rushed in.